$30,000. You know what I could do with $30,000 extra on my salary? A lot. A lot. I would be able to successfully pay debts. I would successfully be able to do the renovations that my house needs. I would be able to live. Especially when that salary increase would be retroactive. But I'm not getting $30,000 extra a year. That's the salary increase that our current government is putting on the table right now for their M&As, the members of the National Assembly. 30,000. Actually, it's 21%. It's 21%. But when you take into account the stipends that they have, you know, the monies that they have to take care of certain expenses, it comes to about, you know, 30,000. And it's retroactive. It's retroactive. So let me get this straight. You are in the middle of a negotiation period. A very I don't want to say hypocritical negotiation, because apparently instead of negotiating with us as one entity, the government has decided to split different organizations into smaller groups to, from what we understand, to reduce the power that certain groups have during negotiations on the negotiating table. So let me get this right. You are in the middle of a negotiation, very hypocritical negotiations. We are very well aware that teachers in our province are some of the lowest paid in the country. And don't tell me, like, I don't want to hear someone from the government say, well, you're on par with, like, yeah, no, I've been teaching for 25 years and I haven't even cracked 100,000. Okay, I haven't even cracked that. Now, let me be clear. I am aware that there are other jobs that are paying less. I'm well aware of that. And I don't want this to be a discussion purely on salary. Like, I don't want people to think that teachers are only negotiating for more money. We're negotiating for much more than that. For one, we are negotiating about class composition and how classes and the number of students that need to be counted per class has to take into account the weight of each student and if they have special needs. And that's a huge thing, because you cannot tell us, you know, yeah, here's a group of 28 students, but in fact, you know, it's actually 35 because you've got, you know, 3 of them that actually are worth 2 students. Yeah, you can't do that. You can't just say like, yeah, yeah, we've capped you at 32 students, but it's actually more. We can't do that. I don't want that to be a discussion. What I would like it to be is like, oh, you say you're working 63 hours a week? I find that, how would the kids say? I find that sus, just a bit. So, just like the previous governments asked teachers to break down their work week, to fill in little holes to say, this is my professional time, this is work of a personal nature, this is other educational time, just like we broke it down for them, I want them to break it down for us. I want them to tell us exactly what they're doing, because I don't want to say that, you know, a teacher's job is much harder than an M&A's job. Like, no, I don't want to say that, because every job has their own reality, right? Every job has their own reality. Every job has its own demands. And let's face it, if I deal with the bébé lala sometimes in my classes, I am sure that the M&As deal with their own version of the bébé lala, all right? whiny babies, for those who are looking for the translation of what bébé lala is, right? I get it. I get it. But if you are going to ask us to justify, like it was done in the past, to justify why we are only working 35 hours, when in fact we are not. We are not working 35 hours a week. We are working way more during our time, during our personal time, during our time at home, when we should be spending it with our families, when we should be doing things outside of the house. And yet, we are not. We are not. Because if I'm going to correct 122 essays, I'm not going to do that in 50 minutes. I can't do that in 50 minutes. If I'm lucky, I could probably correct 4 essays in 50 minutes. And that's really going quickly through them and not doing a thorough job in my correcting. So if I'm going to correct 122 essays, I'm going to have to find time elsewhere than in school. So I want to believe y'all when you say you are working 63 hours a week. I want to believe it. I want to see the breakdown. I want to see the breakdown. I want you to show me how you spend those 60 plus hours, as some people claim. And to consider also that some of these individuals, some of these MNAs, have basically lied to us in their campaign promises on a number of topics. And I'm not just talking about education. I'm talking about a bunch of things, notably the big one being the third bridge, le troisième lien in Quebec City. There were MNAs who were basically building their entire campaign during the last election on that promise. And then even one, and it's made the news, one MNA basically said, if the third link doesn't happen in Quebec City, I will quit my position. Has he quit? He has not. He has not. And there are some other politicians, other representatives who are basically calling for his dismissal, calling for him stepping down. And they're right. They're right, not in the sense that he needs, but they are right to be angry. They're right to be angry. So I am beyond livid that, once again, our government is so completely out of touch with our collective realities, not just teachers, but the little people, everybody who is suffering, everybody who is struggling. Meanwhile, they are going to get a retroactive pay. I don't think there are enough social media platforms for us to cry foul. I don't know how loud we need to be. But if you are a teacher, and I know that some of you are, you cannot accept this. This cannot be tolerated. This needs to be decried. This needs to be denounced. This needs, and hopefully, the opposition parties are going to make enough of a stink about it for that this new bill not to see the day, because it is beyond ridiculous. It is beyond ridiculous. On that lovely note, folks, have yourselves a lovely day.